Okay, so this is a full-length window film holographic and resin bowl tutorial, and I just wanted to show you how I get started to make a freeform one. You can always use a mold. So with film, there is a textured side, which is what faces out on your window, and then the back has a peel off, but it's kind of matte. As you can see, it's matte and there's no grooves in it or anything like that, whereas on this side you see the holographic part. So this is the window facing out part. So on the back, I go ahead and I trace out. This is a 14-inch wood cradled panel. So I'm just going to go around and trace it. And I'm going to go around and cut. So I'm going to turn it back over. This would be where I pour my resin on this shiny side, right? This is a vinyl record, which is 12 inches in diameter. So I'm going to go back on the wrong side, the part that has the film that you peel off, that's the sticky part, the backing of the sticky part. I'm just going to do another quick circle. Alright, so that's 12 inches. I'm just putting it on this board so I know that it's nice and flat and it's got a lot of stability. And I'm going to tape the plastic down. Or, you know, I could tape this down. I could have left it in a square and just traced out the circle and left it on a flat board or cutting board, or, you know, something that's big enough to hold it. But I just thought I'd do it on this, that way I can move it around and move it out of the way if I need to, and I know that it's nice and flat. I'm using 100% silicone. I'm using clear. I don't think that really matters at all. You have to puncture the inside of the nozzle after you've cut it off. And it's 100% waterproof. It's also in my Amazon link. And I don't try to make it perfectly round. I like a little wiggle to it. Okay. So I just want to say there's no copyright to this technique. Multiple people have done it. I'm making a new video so you can see how it's done. This takes many hours to dry, so I'm just going to let it sit and dry. I want this to totally set up, and then it'll have a watertight seal around the edge. And you can go in and you can wet your fingers with warm soapy dishwater, like the Dawn and water, and you can kind of make it smooth around the edge, but it's not really even necessary, to be honest. So that's how you make your own mold. Like, here's a silicone mold. You could cut the shape out of here and put it in here and do it inside of a mold, or you can do it on the film and use no silicone and just use crystals, but I've done that before and it kind of bleeds through your crystals a little bit. So that's why I like to make the dam. That way you're not wasting resin that you have to cut away and throw out, because to me resin is very valuable. So I'll let this set up and then we'll go from there. Okay, I'm going to take my mask off and just to talk to you for a minute. I'm using artist resin, parts A and B, equal parts, Counterculture DIY, and this is not the medium viscosity. It's actually, I think, a little bit, if it's thicker or thinner. I think it's thicker. And I've made my holographic film. I've taped it down to just a wooden panel just to give it a hard base and some security to support it. And I always use tape to remove any particles, dust, or anything, especially when you're wanting your resin to be totally clear like we do with the holographic film, so that you can see straight through it. I'm only going to use clear resin, and then I'm going to use these little, they look like little tiny diamonds or crystals. So they're very shimmery. The package is Hawaii. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I got it on Amazon, and it says it has 10,000 pieces in it, and they're 4.2 millimeters, so they're fairly small, and I want it small. I don't want it big and chunky. So I have mixed my resin for pretty much about 6 minutes, and it's ready to pour. But you need to let that caulking, harden up and cure. It's rubbery, but it's, it's dried up. It's not wet and gooey like when you first squeeze it out of the caulking gun. So I'm just pushing the resin to the edges, and so it's going to have a little bit of an irregular edge, which is good. That's what I want. I don't want it to be perfect. I think that leads itself to a prettier kind of free-form bowl. And so, I've got an order for 4 of these, and I'm gonna, do them in different ways, and I'm not gonna keep on making tons and tons of videos on this unless I do something different around the edge or whatever. That whole situation that I had posted the video on, which I now have removed, I'm going to take some of this resin and use it to coat some coasters that need some resin on them. That was just an uncomfortable situation because, someone was claiming that I stole their technique and all that, which I had never seen her technique. I had seen somebody else do it, and she was saying it was her copyright, which it wasn't. She retracted it. She apologized. So we're all good, and my videos are back up, and I removed the video talking. It was a video number 600, which I talked about the whole situation, and it received quite a lot of views. The cool part about having your own mold and the silicone caulking is you can use the heat torch and not really worry about destroying a mold. So that's kind of the good thing about doing it this way. And I'm just looking for anything that might be dust or particles. You want to try to catch any of that. And I also have a low temp heat gun. It's a heat embossing tool. It's only 300 watts. And you can also spray with alcohol, and that will remove bubbles. And then I'm going to take these little crystals and go around the outskirts. I don't want a ton of them, but I do want them on the edge. And I've tried doing this technique with color, and it will not show through on the top side. The imprint will not show through. It shows on the back, but it does not show through, so that's why I like, you know, doing the clear stuff. And the cool part about this silicone mold and the film is pretty hefty, and you can actually kind of do it over and over again, use it at least 3 times or more. I guess it depends on how much I know the last time I had let it set up too long, and I really had to push and struggle to sculpt the resin because I had let it get really hard, and so it made the caulk pull away from the film, and that was just because I had let the resin sit too long. So I think if you don't have to manipulate it and stretch it and push it too far, it will last you for many uses, and you have a roll of it so you can do many uses with it. And I don't actually even mind if you know, some of them stick out of the resin. That's good for a little texture. I like that actually. So I'm gonna add a little bit right over here, and then I think it's gonna be it. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna let this sit for at least 4 hours, and then I'll come back and check it. And as long as it's not super sticky on the top, then I will come back and mold it over something or inside of something to, you know, give it that free-form bowl effect. So you can't really see, probably from the camera angle, it probably just looks like I've poured resin straight down on plastic. I don't know if you can see the imprint of the film, but that's the top side of the window film, and that will be what the resin kind of molds to, and that's how you get your holographic effect. Again, you can also kind of squirt with alcohol. This is just a cake cover from a deli. They're fabulous for things like this. So that's all there is to it. I'll be back when it's ready to mold. Okay, so this was laying on the film. I took the paper backing off the back of the cling rack. So this is, you know, you would stick it to your window. This would be facing out, and that's what we poured the resin on. So I'm just going to lay it over this bowl form here, and then I'm going to, I think, just use some tape. I'm going to try. So this artist resin is not the medium viscosity, so it takes a little longer for it to set up because this has been about 7 or 8 hours. So there's basically, I guess, more working time. So I'm just going to let it sit over this mold. So that was pretty good. And I could heat this with a heat gun if I wanted to, and that just helps it relax a little bit more. I don't know that I really need to. Let me try it and see. So this is the top side of the resin, and I am not touching this at all with my fingers. I don't want to get any fingerprints since it's not totally cured, but it's not, dust and everything is not going to fall onto it now, so I don't have to worry about that. But I will leave this overnight to let it get to the point where it should be. Okay, so I put some more film down on another piece. And then I want to try one. Let's see, let's make it kind of an abnormal shape. Almost squarish, but not quite. I want to see how it would do as a coaster, how it looks as a coaster. So once I use this and I'm done, I clean the edge off, I release the pressure so it's not coming out, and then I just tape the end of it. And that keeps it kind of airtight until you do it again. Sometimes, you know, even with it taped, and if you go a while, you might have to pull the little plug out that's kind of dried up, but then it's ready to go. So I keep silicone caulk around for things like that. I have a link on my Amazon recommendations, and this is in it. It's called, I think it's called Opal, but it's basically iridescent film. So it's like super cool looking. And what I like to do with this is make my own iridescent silicone shreds. So basically I just keep cutting it. I've got some really terrible scissors up here in my studio. They're not that sharp at all. And I basically just keep cutting into halves. Okay, we're going to unveil the holographic bowl that sat overnight. So this is the underside of the window film that would face into the window, and then this is the textured side, which is where I poured the resin on it. So I did it this way, and Just going to remove the resin from the edge of the caulk. Pull it away. Before I show you that, so I want to show you that this is the top side of the window film that faces out on your window, and I can use this again. You can usually just heat it a little bit. Will usually help it relax, and then you just tape it nice and tight on whatever surface you're doing your resin on. I like to do it on something hard so that it stays nice and perfectly flat while it's curing. And here is the finished bowl. I will show it out in the sunlight or in my living room or somewhere where you can see the reflections. And so because it's clear, it shows on both sides. This is the side that's textured, and this is the side that is totally clear. It can be, you can reverse your bowl either way. I just happened to do it this way this time, but there it is. And then if you can see the little crystals. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll create your own, do your own take on it. Okay, I'm going to leave this overnight and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. So that's when you can see the holographic effect more, is when you remove that backing. I'm going to see if I can. It's not quite ready to come off, I don't think. So we'll just keep waiting on that one. It's just about set up, but not quite. So I'll show you that when we see what the bowl looks like tomorrow. Okay. I did take the coaster out. It worked. It's so pretty. And I put gold edges. This was just a trial run. I did caulk on a piece of window film and just did a thin layer just to see if it would work, and it did. So there's that. And it's time to reveal the bowl. Yay! Scared me there for a minute. I thought I'd stuck to my bowl. Tell you what, I'm going to leave it on this. So this is the confetti that's cut up that I showed. That was a really quick take on. And you just pull away. The edges. Release. Release, you beast. And there it is. It's not fully hardened yet. So I'll probably put it back in the bowl without the window film, obviously. But I really like it with the cellophane edges. It's very, very pretty. So it gives it some texture, and depending on how the light hits it, it looks yellow-green, it looks pink, purple, blue, you name it. So there it is. It turned out pretty. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I will be making more. I think this one is sold, but I'm going to keep playing and experimenting with different ones just to see what I can come up with. See who I can inspire to want to make their own, you know. So, and like I said, the good part about this film is you can use it a couple of times. It does kind of it starts to get wavy. Like when it lays flat, you see how it's kind of rippled because it gets stretched and squeezed, and you can kind of, like I said, you can kind of heat it, make it relax a little bit. But you have to stretch it out and tape it so it lays flat for the process, because you don't want it to be wavy, you know, overall. So just a note on that. and you can't leave it overnight flat because it will harden that way with counterculture. So you have to give it about, with the medium viscosity, about 4 to 5 hours. With the regular viscosity, the blue-green bottle, it's a little bit longer. It's closer to probably 7 hours or so, and then you know, put it into your, whatever you're going to push it in to make the shape, or lay it over the other way. Then, you know, it'll do its thing. It's so pretty. Alright, holograph on holograph. Woohoo! I'll see you on the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hugs, everybody. Bye-bye.